I've always believed that mornings are sacred. They're like the blank page of a journal, a fresh start to write whatever story you want for the day. My morning routine isn't anything extravagant, but it's mine, and it keeps me grounded. Over the years, I've fine-tuned it into a ritual that feels almost meditative. Let me walk you through it. My day begins at exactly 6:30 a.m. I don't need an alarm anymore. My body has gotten used to waking up at the same time every day. The first thing I do when I open my eyes is take a deep breath and stretch. It's nothing fancy, just a few simple stretches while lying in bed, but it helps shake off the grogginess and gets my blood flowing. Once I'm up, I head straight to the kitchen to drink a glass of water. It's a habit I picked up a couple of years ago after reading about how dehydrated our bodies can get overnight. That first sip of cold water feels like a wake-up call for my entire system. While I drink, I usually glance out the kitchen window. The street below is quiet at this hour, with only a few early risers walking their dogs or jogging. The stillness of the morning feels like a gift, a moment of peace before the world starts buzzing. Next, I put on my sneakers and head out for a morning walk. This is probably my favorite part of the routine. There's something magical about being outside in the early hours, when the air is crisp and the sunlight is soft. I walk to a small park about 10 minutes away from my apartment. It's not a big park, just a loop of greenery with a few benches and a playground, but it's enough. While walking, I let my mind wander. Sometimes I think about my plans for the day, mapping out tasks and priorities. Other times, I simply enjoy the present moment, listening to the chirping of birds or the sound of my footsteps on the path. On particularly energetic mornings, I'll do a light jog around the park, but most days, I keep it slow and steady. By the time I return home, I'm fully awake and ready to tackle the day. But before diving into anything, I dedicate 10 minutes to mindfulness. I sit on a cushion in my living room, close my eyes, and focus on my breathing. It's not a formal meditation practice, I just let myself be still and notice how I'm feeling. Some days, my mind is racing with thoughts, and that's okay. The goal isn't to silence my brain but to acknowledge whatever's going on inside me without judgment. After my mindfulness session, it's time to fuel up. Breakfast is non-negotiable for me, I can't function without it. I like to keep things simple yet satisfying. Most mornings, I'll have a bowl of oatmeal topped with fresh fruit and a drizzle of honey. If I'm feeling fancy, I'll add a sprinkle of chia seeds or a dollop of yogurt. While my oatmeal cooks, I prepare a cup of coffee. The smell of freshly brewed coffee filling the kitchen is one of life's small joys, and I savor every sip. Breakfast is also when I allow myself to catch up on some light reading. I have a small stack of books and magazines on my dining table, and I'll pick one up to read while I eat. It's usually something inspirational or educational, a few pages from a self-help book, an article on a topic I'm curious about, or even just a poem. This small habit feels like food for my mind, alongside the food for my body. Once breakfast is done, it's time to get ready for the day. I head to the bathroom, where the first order of business is a quick skincare routine. I'm no expert, but I stick to the basics: a gentle cleanser, moisturizer, and sunscreen. The act of caring for my skin feels like a little self-love ritual, a way of saying, I'm taking care of you. Getting dressed is next. I like to pick out my outfit the night before to save time and decision-making energy in the morning. Whether it's a casual day at home or a busy one filled with meetings and errands, I always choose something that makes me feel comfortable and confident. By now, it's usually around 8 a.m., and I sit down at my desk to plan my day. I use a journal to write down my to-do list, prioritizing tasks in order of importance. There's something satisfying about seeing a clear plan laid out in front of me, like a roadmap for the hours ahead. I also take a moment to jot down one thing I'm grateful for. It's a simple practice, but it helps set a positive tone for the day. Before I dive into work or responsibilities, I take a final moment for myself. Some mornings, this means watering the plants on my windowsill, their green leaves glistening with dew. Other days, I'll put on a favorite playlist and dance around the living room for a song or two. It sounds silly, but it's a great way to boost my mood and remind myself not to take life too seriously. And then, the day begins. Looking back, I realize how much my morning routine has evolved over the years. There was a time when I'd roll out of bed at the last possible minute, rushing through the morning in a frantic haze. I'd skip breakfast, scroll mindlessly through my phone, and start the day feeling stressed and unprepared. It wasn't until I decided to prioritize my mornings that everything changed. Now, my routine feels like a series of small rituals strung together, each one designed to bring me a sense of calm and clarity. It's not about productivity or ticking boxes, it's about creating a foundation that supports me throughout the day. Of course, there are mornings when things don't go as planned. Sometimes I oversleep, or I skip my walk because of bad weather. And that's okay. The beauty of a routine is its flexibility. It's there to serve me, not the other way around. Mornings have become my sanctuary, a time when the world feels quiet and I can just be. They've taught me the value of slowing down, of being intentional with my time. And most importantly, they've shown me that even the simplest habits, drinking a glass of water, taking a deep breath, writing down a to-do list, can have a profound impact on how I feel and live my life. So, if you ever feel like your days are slipping away in a blur of busyness, I'd encourage you to look at your mornings. You don't need to wake up at the crack of dawn or follow an elaborate routine. Just find what works for you, something that makes you feel good and gives you a sense of control. For me, it's a walk in the park, a mindful moment, and a bowl of oatmeal. For you, it might be something entirely different. Whatever it is, I hope your mornings become as meaningful to you as mine are to me. Because how you start your day truly sets the tone for everything that follows.